Fighting Noise, a Nonoise podcast. Welcome back to Fighting Noise, the podcast where I speak with innovators, investors, and experts tackling sound pollution in bold ways. Today, I'm joined by Karel Sedláček, International Product Manager and Building Science Expert at Saint-Gobain, a European leader in materials and acoustic solutions through their daughter company, Acoustic. We'll explore why noise remains a challenge in our built environment, where innovation succeeds or stalls, and how Saint-Gobain is pushing for real acoustic comfort. Bonjour Karel, hi.
Hello Julien, hello everyone.
I'm really glad you're here. Thanks a lot for joining. Karel, before we dive in, what roles does sound or noise play in your day-to-day work as building science expert? Is it a core part of your focus or just one of many building performance topics you deal with?
It's somewhere between, because it's part of the many other topics what I am covering at Saint-Gobain, because acoustic is one of the main points, so I think 20, maybe 30% of my time I focus on the acoustic, 35 maybe, so because it's a really important part.
It's a really important part. So we'll dive in, but maybe let's start by introducing yourself. Karel, who are you?
So I'm International Building Science Manager at Saint-Gobain. I'm responsible for all the countries of Saint-Gobain. They need some kind of building science support, little bit more in marketing way, because of course we have special R&D department where we focus mainly on R&D project. My main subject is simplify difficult things for the normal people, to better understand how it is working. And it's same also topic in case of the acoustic, to simplify the difficult things, to the normal people to better understand the topics itself.
You're working at the headquarters of Saint-Gobain in Paris, and you're acting for World Europe or at a global level?
Worldwide. So, So if someone from China or from South America needs something, from other countries, of course, as well, they contact me and we discuss what kind of question they need. For example, this morning there was a question from UAE, so they needed some support in software and see the impact of different combination of Saint-Gobain materials, combination of mineral isolation with different kind of plasterboard and different thicknesses to see what kind of impact it can have.
Okay, perfect. Let's start with the basics. Saint-Gobain, Acoustic. What do both companies offer today when it comes to acoustics comfort in buildings? What are the...
We have, I think, three main pillars what we focus in case of the acoustic, depending on the products. You mentioned Ecophone, of course. Ecophone is one of them. But in case of the Ecophone, we mainly looking on the room acoustic. So focus on the reverberation times to improve the comfort people in the rooms, But of course, the other solution what we have in different brands like isolation or gypsum, we focus on airborne sound or impact sound, depending if you need to do isolation of the walls, mainly partition walls, but it can be also a facade or roof or whatever. And of course, for the floating floors, to reduce the impact sound, what can come from the people that are moving, and sometimes they can disturb the other people that are living on the floor below. So we have this kind of three pillars, if I can call it, and depending what the people need to improve, so we go in different directions.
And your projects are offices, residential buildings, schools, hospitals, every kind of projects, I can imagine.
Yeah, you are right, exactly.
And what is the main differentiator of Saint-Gobain's offer? Is it a question of material, like wood wool instead of rock wool in competition like rock wool in Denmark? Or is it, where is the main differentiator of such a group?
So first, we don't focus only on one kind of materials. We are multi-materials company. The main aim is to focus on solution, not only on the products level, but solution level on the building level. So if you look on the building level, building scale, this is always combination, so this is what these people really need, or what is the main interest of the people. Okay, so sometimes they are focusing only to reach a little bit more decibels of partition wall, but general the main customer, for them it's important to have better acoustic inside the room, and the customer don't care if we improve partition walls or the walls around, or I don't know, the quality of the door what are inside the partition. So
the outcome is more important.
We need to have the knowledge what the customer really need, and after focus what it's relevant to change or to improve.
The outcome is more important than the material itself, than the strategy you use to that outcome.
It's combination. It's combination. I don't like to say material is not so important. It's important, but I think more important is how we to say build all the construction. So if we need 2 layers, 3 layers, 5 layers, of the different materials to cover all the frequencies. And in this situation, of course, the material is important, but it's also important the order of the materials what we set.
Saint-Gobain talks a lot about multi-comfort and about sustainability. How do acoustics fit into that, especially into sustainability? Is it strong expectation from the market, sustainability, and is noise seen as part of sustainability?
It's still growing, so it's definitely more and more important. It's maybe not on the level where it should be, but it's growing definitely. So it's more and more important for many customers. And for end users, it's still on the high level, a little bit lower than the other, how to say, needs what they need to fulfill. But if you move a little bit on the developer level or architects level, it's already a little bit higher than at end users, and it's growing. And for us, the sustainability is the main key, and the performance, it's a part of the sustainability. So acoustic is part of the sustainability general.
You're a building science expert. Measuring the effectiveness of the acoustic solution will be very important. How do you measure that? Is it a reduction in decibel? We spoke about the outcome, the user satisfaction. Is it about regulation and compliance?
It's everything. So if we are doing some kind of test in laboratory, so it's a pure test in decibels. So we know after the test what is the performance of the construction. If we go a little bit to the customer, of course we need to know the customer survey. We already made a couple in the past. So we know how sensitive the customer are. And even if they reach the standards, and this is other part, we of course, in many countries, we somehow focus on the standardization committee. Many of Saint-Gobain members are part, or at least contributes at developing new standards. And at the end, if we do the survey according to level what is set in the standards, the satisfaction of the customers is different. So even if you reach the level of in standards, still more than 30% of the people is not satisfied, with the level of the acoustic. So probably start place for the improvement. But of course, it will cost something, because if you put more materials or change the construction for something what has higher performance, usually it is a little bit expensive. And this is the main key and main point what is important for everyone, the price of the construction. And if there are people are able to pay extra price to have higher comfort. And it's not just acoustic comfort. How I mentioned, I am responsible for other comfort. So it's also thermal comfort, visual comfort, or you need to reach some kind of minimum fire resistivity of the construction around you. So it's many things, and you need to combine all the things together.
But you said it, so the regulations, the standards are giving a limit. But if we speak really about comfort and not just health, these limits are maybe not high enough, but it's a question of investment, a question of money. Why we don't have maybe better buildings today? It's mostly a question of budget.
It's also a question of the budget, but it's also a question about the knowledge of the people. Because in normal situation, if the people don't need it, It's
Mm-hmm.
the situation is not really going fast in this direction because no one needs it. So why to improve it? So this is still question mark of what we should do to improve the knowledge of the people about acoustic. We are doing lots of training. We have lots of
Mm-hmm.
documents on websites. We are doing different kind of webinars, something like today with you and so on, podcast. But at the end, of course, it's so many things what are online. So the people need to split their time between other topics also. So with the acoustic will be not so important for them. So nothing changed. Other thing is the noise level around us is growing. We have more cars, more other transports. We have more equipment inside, refrigerator, freezers, printers, and many other things, and everything is doing some kind of noise. So the
Mm-hmm.
noise level around us is growing, and it's higher and higher according to the measurement what we have seen in the past. So it's the level around us of the noise is growing, and we need to mention it to the people, then the noise level has not just impact about the acoustic comfort. It can really have a deep impact on the health of the people, and during day, also during night. And
Yep.
there were many studies what I have seen already, and it can really have impact on the heart attacks what people got during the years.
Totally.
So there are many studies. So it's really important part.
But it's a part we mentioned a lot in this podcast, the impact of noise and noise pollution on health, on changing sleeping patterns. You say that hearing or raising the blood pressure and bringing more heart attacks and so
Exactly.
on. And you mentioned all these new devices. We must be aware that 1% of the energy spent on devices is transformed into noise at the end, into sound, into noise. So even if it's not higher than the standard, and we don't speak about 80, 90 or 100 decibel noises, having a lot of small engines turning in our home is generating some small noise. And in terms of psychoacoustic, we are aware of this noise, and it changes something in the way we do sleep, in the way we do live, we do work, working from home and so on. So it has a lot of importance, and it's the same at the workplace. So it's essential. Different episodes, I heard that architects, for instance, professionals are not trained enough. You mentioned you're training people, but you're training people already working in this area. Do you think, do you feel that students, new architects coming on the market are coming with a better knowledge in terms of noise pollution, or it's still really hard, they are not well trained when joining or coming on the market? What do you think?
According my experience, it is still on the same level. We are trying to push it. We have also architecture student contest, like Saint-Gobain architecture student contest for the students from many countries, and acoustic comfort is one of the criteria what they should fulfill. But at the end, what we can see, just how to say 20 or 30% of the students really have some knowledge, then can really reach our criteria. The rest put her some information. Okay, it's better than nothing. But I can easily see then the knowledge level of them, it's still not there what it should be. They
Mm-hmm.
just put her some dBs. They don't know what dBs mean. They don't know what are the limits. They don't know what is the impact if there is 5 dBs more or less. For them, it's just number what they found somewhere and put it inside the project. I don't speak about everyone. Of course, there are many
Sure.
exceptions, but general how I see. If they are doing the project, they are doing. If we talk about our students of architecture, they are looking on the nice building, on the shape of the building.
Mm-hmm.
So they are doing many nice pictures. That
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they are also doing some calculation, about the heat loss and so on. But for the acoustic, it's a little bit more difficult subject for them. So they just postpone this area, and at the end they have no time to really cover it completely, and they just put something there. So if you ask, can you hear I don't know 3 dB differences? So they don't know what that they should answer. If you ask them what is the 10 dBs, can you hear it? They don't say it's like TV twice loud. That they don't know this information.
They don't understand the cause and don't understand the consequences of this and can change this.
Exactly. If I talk with them, many of them told me, yes, you are right, but I don't have time for it. If I need some acoustic specialist, so I will hire acoustic expert only for this topic, But from my point of view, at least the architect should have some overview about it.
Basic
Also,
knowledge.
I understand he can go to details, of course, but at least to have some basic understanding. And if he designs some kind of really not really well acoustic performated construction, it's already bad from the beginning, and after someone need to replace it with something else or improve it somehow, so
Work cost more
at least
money,
at
even
least
more money.
even the architect should have some general information about acoustic. Some of them have, of course, but I think most of them still not.
Karel, let's focus on innovation a little bit. What are some recent product innovation you've been involved in? Maybe in terms of materials, but also I know you work a lot on VR, so in terms of digital tools, what are the newest or biggest innovation you work with?
Yeah, so if you mention about the product level, of course, we are doing many projects in R&D. We are trying to combine different materials and different kind of fibers and combine it with nanofibers together and to see what we can still improve. But it's long process, so the results need more years. To be really ready to launch on the market. Even if we find something what is quite useful, very often it is much expensive and the people are not ready to pay, I don't know, double price just for, 10% improvement or something like it, so it's a long process. If I will move from the materials level or product level to construction level, again, we are doing many experiments, many tests, many simulation. It is again long process. So the impact will be during the years, not immediately in 1 or 2 years. And in short time, everyone from the big bosses would like everything in short time, but it's not unfortunately possible to do it so fast. Sometimes yes, but it's really rare. In case of the tools, yes, this is the way when we can really speed up all the process, because you mentioned VR. Yeah, if you are in the VR and you have headphones on, even the VR itself, it's quite good. So the people really hear the different experience if they are inside, then see different construction. They see the figures in dBs, so they can know how many dBs it is or how much dBs it's the performance of different construction. And if you are inside the simulation and switch to something else, they really have a direct impression of it, and it's really valuable and it's easy to do it already because the technology is quite advanced. So I think it is the way how we can speed up all the process to explain to people how important it's the acoustic for them and how big impact it can.
Last week, I did interview the founder of a company called Treble from Iceland, as they're offering a solution to simulate sound and noise in advance. Do you use this solution or other solutions to simulate sound in advance on planning?
Yes, we have many tools. I used Insul, so it's a solution from a New Zealand company. So it's quite good software what we are using. In many Saint-Gobain companies, we are using this software. But I know there are many other softwares on the markets what I already have seen. Some softwares are focusing on the general construction, like this Insul what I mentioned. But I have seen also some special tools. They are focus on CLT panels, or some other construction what are developing quite fast on the market. Mainly lightweight construction. Saint-Gobain is leader between lightweight construction because how we mentioned at the beginning, the main aim of Saint-Gobain is improve the sustainability on the general way, better for the people, better for the planet. So create some solution what will have a much lower CO2 impact. So this is why we focus on lightweight construction, because the CO2 impact it's much lower than if you compare it with the heavy construction. And if you use the more layers, in case of the acoustic, it's quite better performant in most frequencies if you compare with massive construction. So it's also a big advance. But of course, they have some big points and some frequencies, of course. So the people need to work with it carefully and with some kind of a knowledge. So how I mentioned, we used many softwares, and I think in R&D we used more than 5 different kind of softwares, and compare, if we are doing some simulation, we compare it between each other to see what we can expect, and after we do the real test, and again compare it with the real test, because it costs a lot if you do the physical test, but if you do the simulation, it's much cheaper.
If you had a magical power and you would be able to launch or to use a new innovation on the market just right now, this month, because you said it, a lot of innovation are too expensive, or a lot of innovation are very long to develop, the R&D time.
Yeah, exactly.
Meaning we won't have the solution before a few years. But you have this magical power. For once, congratulations, you are able to invent a solution or to pick a solution, anything on the market. What would be the solution helping you the most today and bringing the most value today?
Right now, when we see what the market need, they need a solution what will be on same price or even cheaper, with, for example, 50% more higher performance in case of the acoustic. So if I have this power, so I would like launch something what will be easy to do, cheap, with much higher acoustic performance than we have now. I mean something like 10 dBs more.
Just a better material, but not more expensive, because you said it, that's the limit. If it's more expensive, it won't grow through the market.
It's not the question of on the material itself. I think it's question of the system solution. And this is what we are trying to improve, because you can combine a different layers of materials with different parameters to reach the optimal level of the acoustic performance. Of course, we have some limits now. So if we improve many materials in better way, and put it together inside the construction and design the construction much better, it will be perfect. For example, the big point of the construction in case of the lightweight construction are the studs. You need to have something to hold the load what is coming from the building itself. So without them, it's not possible. It will fall down, But this is still the weak point. If we can find something what replace them and will still work well, I have no idea how to do it, but in case of the power, so I will just erase them with nothing, with just air, what will be some kind of supporting for the construction load, and we already can improve the construction, I don't know, 5 dBs plus just like this, and so, yeah.
You're a lucky guy. I give you this magical power a second time. That time for digital innovation. It can combine hardware or software, or be software only. But if you could find a new solution, or just right now and being able to use it, what would be the software you would dream of?
Software of the dream is complete, have everything in VR. So I mean, the architect will create the design of the building, and immediately we can go through VR inside the building itself, what he designed, and see all the construction, and just press the button and say, please use, I don't know, 5 top construction what can have the best acoustic in this situation, and we will see the limits inside VR. We will see 5 different options, and we can just use which one it's the best one, or which was the cheapest one from time, and immediately implement inside the project. So the architect will create just the design of the building, and after all the things we do direct in VR, and it update the project immediately in the software what he is using. So he will just co-work with us to optimize all the construction. Or it can be some
Love
AI
it.
implemented inside, so he don't need us, he can do it himself. Just go there and ask AI, please improve this, and AI offer him or she or her some kind of option what is best to use, and if we implement it immediately into BIM 3D objects. So
I love it. I know this podcast is followed by many innovators and founders, so I guess it's a perfect call for project and for innovation. Guys, folks, if you have a solution, an idea of a solution for the future, that's your roadmap. Thanks, Karel, for sharing this dream. But when you describe it, I think it's a realizable dream because the technology does exist, but we need to combine a lot of different things, and it's always a question of performance. So yes, we're able to do that for sure, but to be able to fit every kind of custom project and get all this knowledge into one place, I think that's a big challenge here. But still, it's not flying shoes. I guess we are able at some point to have that kind of solution. How do you prioritize what to develop next on your sides? Do you take the feedbacks from architects, from the market, from the regulation? What are the factors of influence to prioritize your R&D roadmap?
everything what you mentioned and much more.
Much more.
We are focusing on many channels, depending what kind of project we are doing. So if I am supporting the countries with my knowledge, it's mainly the question is coming from the market to my how to say subject what are giving us the feedback, the customers. Depending on the case, it can be architects, specialists, craftsmen, end users, whatever. So they need something. Usually they need a little bit adapt or current solution to something else. So I'm supporting them. What will be the final impact if we change some things, switch one material with the other, and so on. So this is the main channel. The other channel is R&D, because from this channel sometimes we can find something what doesn't exist, what the customer are looking for, and still can't find it because nothing exists. So after we go to R&D and discuss with them if this is possible to develop something what the customer need. Of course, there is a much big work behind. We need to do some surveys, see the market share, and so it's not just one customer, but of course, one customer is important, but it's not enough power to change something, some developing process or something like it. But if this is many customer with same needs, of course, it's already, and if this is already a good market, so after we do some solution and try to develop something what will really fit according to their needs. So it's architects, end users, specialists, sometimes also the idea come direct from the R&D. But in the past, we were a little bit more techno push, so we found something really interesting and tried to push on the market. Look, we have this, but in reality, it doesn't work well. It's much better move a little bit from invention to innovation. I mean, not have just good, nice idea, but really create something what the customer need, so be more innovative and little bit less and create some invention what no one need or no one might like to buy.
I'm a product guy, a digital product guy, and that's the basic of product management and solving customer pains before inventing anything new and useless. But you said it. We focused a lot on B2B, but I know you can bring an added value on a B2C perspective and a few advice for builders, for consumers, building things, or even occupants. So let's go maybe rapidly on best practices and recommendations for final users. For someone building or renovating a home, could be a small office or anything. What are the first signs that noise might become a problem and they should care about?
In this situation, it's really not easy because if they do the renovation or try to build new building or sometimes just rent the building itself, it's very often too late, because if you rent a house and go to the house and after 2 or 3 days, you just discover that the street what is close to the house is so noisy and the quality of the window it's not good enough, and you have lots of noise also during the night and you sleep bad. It is not optimal, and after you are looking for some expert who can help you and so on, So I think it's have better knowledge before you will even start, So,
Mm-hmm.
but this is the weak point, because most of the people have no knowledge before, and after it's already too late, and it costs much more,
Completely
So, and
understand
I
that.
don't
Yeah.
know how to convince people. Then this should be also at the starting point and not later. But for this knowledge, you need have already the knowledge itself, So the people, they already have it. They probably made some mistake in the past and remember it quite well. But for the
You're
newcomers,
Yeah,
with
learning
this,
from previous mistakes, but that's the whole goal of this podcast: creating awareness
there
on
should be some
this
checklist.
topic.
I think maybe it is a question for someone who is doing or is building the buildings, or I don't know, some government or someone who should create some kind of checklist.
Mhm.
And on the checklist should be some things what the people should check before they will buy, rent, or make a
Yeah,
renovation. What should check, And if they will be on
including
the list also
the sound and the
acoustic and
noise
so on,
around.
So the people will see it, and after maybe try to find more information about it, But in normal situation, everyone is doing the checklist himself, or at least they keep
And
it in the
forget
mind what
acoustic.
is. And acoustic is nowhere, and and after, okay, we miss it. When I'm moving to vacation,
Yeah.
I always doing the checklist not to forget, okay, so swimsuit and other things, but sometimes things like pyjama, okay, so it's not to say very often on the list, but you still need it, so this is same like with the acoustic on the checklist. There should be some checklist, even the things what are important and not obvious.
I will link in the comment 2 or 3 solutions mapping noise on the street. Today, there are solutions out there, not mapping every square meter on the planet, but a lot of them in cities. And meaning, if you are listening to this podcast and you are aware about this, maybe you use one of this link and share it to be able to identify, is the street I want to live in a noisy street or not, or is the street of the school of my kids a noisy street or not, and what do I need to take into account? You mentioned windows. What are the 2, 3 basic but high impact interventions anyone can apply to reduce noise in a space, whether at work or in schools or at home? Is there something high impact, even if low investment but high impact?
Yeah. But there is one thing what is important. It's really often it's quite bad, So I'm usually doing some kind of my own paper test. I call it like paper test. I just take a A4 paper sheet and just put it inside the window, close the window again, open the window, put the sheet of the paper inside, close it. And if I easy remove it,
Mm-hmm.
the rubber or the fixation of the rubber between the frame and the open part of the window, it's not good enough. You have some little leakages. It's important for airtight of the building or airtightness of the building, and it's also important for the acoustic, because you have little holes or little gaps around, and
Mm-hmm.
it completely, I don't like to say destroy, but at least it really, it's the thing, the reduction of the acoustic is really high, because this issue,
Mm-hmm.
So, and if the people ask me, can I improve construction, I will put inside some special partition wall or from outside isolation and so on, because the road
Yeah.
or the street is quite noise and so on, So I said, yes, maybe it is second or third step. But first step is to check where is the weakness point on the construction. And you know it quite well like me. If you have a wall 50 dBs and window 35, depending of course on the size and so on, so it always drop to the lowest as
Mm-hmm.
performance construction. So it will be the result will be, I don't know, 36, 37, something like it, So make really no sense to improve the opaque construction, what is already quite good, And we need to focus on the weakest point, and usually it is door or window or something like this, and if we improve it, after we can go back to the other construction. And my test, and everyone can do it, just put the paper inside the window, close it, and if you can easily move it, or sometimes I can also move it around, around the frame, I can just move in. Of course, there are some steel parts, okay, so you will stop there, but at least you can move between, okay, so it's already really bad. And with really low cost, you can change the rubber to something new and just replace the rubber with new one, and you are okay. Or just rectify the window a little bit more to remove this weak point. Yeah.
Okay,
Or
that's
pain
great.
point.
That's great, and for sure I will create a short on YouTube just with this run recommendation. But because I really think a lot of people will could test it, and will realize that there is some issue when picking solution on the market. If you go to the do-it-yourself market and try to buy a wall, there is a lot of, if you look at Pinterest and Instagram, you see these walls, these acoustic panels, and a lot of them are, I heard about, are using, let's say, green argument or greenwashing argument, but I know that a lot of acoustic panels mostly are produced in a very miserable manner, and are a lot of chemicals, and are really not good even for the health. So what should people look for to spot a good science-based product, isolation product, soundproofing product?
Well, it depends what you need to reach. If you talk about the panels, it is really useful if you improve the room acoustic. Like in your case, you have some kind of acoustic studio. So, okay, for this situation, it is probably the best what you can do. Put this acoustic product on the wall, on the ceiling, on the floor carpet, something like it, what can absorb really well all the frequencies. And in this situation, it helps. You can look on the technical data sheets to compare different product each by each to see which one in better class. So there are accumulation class. So if you are in class 1 or A or B, so you are still quite good, of course, but it's only one part of the acoustic, room acoustic, But if you have noisy neighbors and what are beside you or above you, this is completely different solution. This kind of panel will help you like zero or almost nothing, and you need to completely change focus on different kind of construction. In this situation, it is beside you. Okay, you can put some extra partition wall and have, I don't know, double size of the wall and improve it, something like it, or put more layers, isolation, plasterboard, I don't know, something what is massive construction, and some mineral isolation what can absorb, and some boards what can reflect the acoustic and combine it. But even this, sometimes it can go around, because you have always some connection, so if you have partition and the wall around, so it can go around the partition, and you will lose the performance anyway. So sometimes you need also do something more. And this is in case of the wall between your dwelling and the second one, but it is someone about you. Again, we are moving to impact sound, and you need to do some floating floor. And this is the main issue what many customers have if they are living in multi-residential buildings, and someone living or live above them. I said, yeah, he's noisy, what I can do. And if this is just speech, TV or something like it, they can do some acoustic ceilings, again, plasterboard and isolation between the current ceiling and the plasterboards
If it's
after,
high
and
enough, yep.
can help a lot. But if this is impact sound, they can hear the steps or how the people are moving or running, or they moving with the furniture quite often, or I don't know. And it's already in the walls, and the ceiling will help them really, really low, almost like nothing for this kind of a noise. And they need again do some floating floors, but not at their floor, but they need to go to the neighbor and ask them. But of course, usually the neighbor is not. or she don't like to invest for new floor just because of better comfort for the neighbors that are living below him, So in this situation, it's really difficult situation. Okay, you can do some box in box, so you can isolate all your flat from all the areas around, but it's too expensive and no one would like to do it, But in this situation, it is really problematic. So you can discuss with the neighbors, okay, please don't do it. But if this is difficult, they can change just, I would say, ceramic tiles to carpet. It helps a lot. But if they don't like to do it also, well, it is already a difficult situation. You can maybe ask some company who will measure the acoustic level in your house, and after look on the regulation, on the standards, and say, okay, it's already above the limits, that someone can maybe help you. But at least this kind of noise, it's problematic.
I will share in the comments in the description of the episode the video you shared with me of maybe the last solution in case you are disturbed by the noise of your neighbor above. But just have a look in the description of the episode and watch this YouTube video. Karel, thank you very much for all this good advice, also on a B2C perspective and not just on B2B world. Finally, do you have a last personal tip for making any space feel a bit quieter, a bit more comfortable, acoustically or not? Because as you said, you're a building science expert at Saint-Gobain, not only for acoustics, but for all kind of comfort. Do you have a last word, a last tip for our audience?
Not direct for your audience, because everyone who will be there is already there, and they probably will already have or will have soon some kind of knowledge about acoustic if they follow your channel.
I hope so.
But for them, please share this information with your neighbors, with your family members, and with the others to help us split the knowledge about acoustic between other people. Because I understand that people that are here already know something, but we need also focus for the people they still don't know.
So speak about it, not with people who know, but people who don't know. It's a very good advice. So I will keep it as a final word. Karel Sedláček, International Product Manager and Building Science Expert at Saint-Gobain. Thanks a lot for your time today. I think it was really useful for, even if people know, for a lot of people to understand how you work at Saint-Gobain about these issues, but also what could we do to optimize our built environment for later. If you watched or listened to this episode, please give us a comment, a note, share this episode even with people who don't know. That's a good advice. And thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and thanks for following Nonoise. As you said it, Karel, it's a collective work to make it work and to make people aware of acoustics and of noise pollution. See you next week for the next episode. Thanks a lot, Karel.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.